Soro. Yes.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, what is happening today, or in the recent past, started like a joke from what many considered as mere statements by very top leaders of this country. It started from statements like, the shareholders claiming that there are some communities that really did not contribute to the formation of this government, calling other people shareholders and other people traitors, and people kept quiet. But, Honorable Speaker, if this House keeps quiet, the trend this country is taking will take us back to 2007, 2008, if we are not careful. Because it started from one particular leader, then it went down to what we'll call his supporters, or he recruited some speakers or a mouthpiece to speak on his behalf. And the recent utterances, Honorable Speaker, really shocked the nation, where somebody is questioning on the division of the national cake, how it should actually be shared, that it should be shared on how people voted. I mean, this is shocking. What he did say is that if we go by that formula that he was proposing, then he should also propose that a certain section of people or a region should then not pay taxes. They should also not contribute to the national cake in terms of paying of taxes. That is exactly what the governor of Nyeri meant. And that is extremely selfish, being extremely selfish. But more important, Honorable Speaker, to what Honorable Okello has raised, yesterday was a bit embarrassing. This House passed last year's budget, 2023-2024, and they allocated funds to every arm of government. The executive got their vote, and in particular, the presidency got a budget to help them run their affairs. Every member of this House and even members of public know very well that each office is well equipped with a team of people, with a team that helps people that move around, the executive, members of the executive to move around, like His Excellency the Deputy President. It was a shame, Honorable Speaker, to see His Excellency the Deputy President moving around, carrying a bag, in as much as one wants to pull some PR stunts, and I say this, Honorable Speaker, with tremendous respect. We should question, it is about time we question the members of staff that work with His Excellency the Deputy President. Where were they when he was carrying the bag? Where were they when they were taking pictures, and some of them, of course, standing behind him as he pulled the bag, which looked very empty, Honorable Speaker. And I think it must have been bought from the airport, Honorable Speaker. Because in as much as we appreciate the fact that...
Order, Honorable Soro. I think what Jared Okello asked was legitimate. But let's not digress into discussing the conduct of the person, of the Deputy President. Jared Okello asked whether, and I saw it in the reason I allowed him to seek that statement from the majority leader is that the person of the Deputy President of this country is a responsibility of everybody. His movement to any part of the country has security implications. How he travels, who he travels with, where he goes, has security implications. So I saw it in the context that it is not a matter that is normal to see our Deputy President towing a bag on the airside to the aircraft, because you have appropriated resources to facilitate the work of the office of the presidency. That is how I understood Okello's concern. And Okello was seeking the majority leader to assure the country whether this is something subnormal or this is something that is near normal, or somebody saying is the new normal, but in security terms, it is not normal. And that's what I expect the majority leader to tell this House. So anybody who seeks to speak to this can only confine yourself within that context. If you start discussing the personal conduct of the Deputy President, I will not allow you. Yes, KJ. What's your point of order?
Mr. Speaker, I was seeking to find out if the leader, the whip is in order, and you have guided so well, Mr. Speaker, on the points that we have to confine ourselves into. But the whip was also deviating into even taking a mickey on very serious professions, Mr. Speaker. He's talking about the Deputy Speaker taking a PR show to the runway. And I would like for the whip to understand that PR as a practice in itself is a very respectable profession. But most importantly, you also got to understand, Mr. Speaker, and I have to put this straight, that the Deputy President is on record saying that he is a product of the drama festival. He has acted on stage, in plays, even at the University of Nairobi, Mr. Speaker. So if he decides to put up a play, it is not the place of the whip to call him out on putting up a PR show, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the Deputy President is very serious about supporting the talents in this country. Only a few days ago, Mr. Speaker, the Deputy President was there for the launch of the Bahati show, Mr. Speaker. We might have had a continuation of the same show on the side, on the runway of at the JKI, Mr. Speaker. So, Mr. Speaker, I was seeking to find out if the whip is in order to take a mickey at very serious professions, the profession of PR and public relations, the profession of actors, and even the people who chase clout for content, Mr. Speaker, for TikTok, are also doing a serious job, Mr. Speaker. So I would want you to find the whip out of order totally, Mr. Speaker, for deviating from the issues as you directed. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Order, honorable members, honorable KJ. The act of a Deputy President towing a travel bag on a runway is not a display of talent. And it cannot be. Yes, Osoro, wind up.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I stand guided, and I'll not delve into the conduct of His Excellency Deputy President. But Honorable Speaker, nothing stops any member of this House from bringing the conduct of His Excellency Deputy President, especially when it's a shame to the country, Honorable Speaker. But if it's a reality show, as Honorable KJ has said, then I think it's important for us to appreciate him and say reality shows pay, and the young people have also shown that clearly reality shows are paying. And in fact, people are saying even TikTok pays. And the very first time I saw that video, Honorable Speaker, His Excellency Deputy President towing the bag was actually on TikTok.
Honorable members, reduce your consultations. Wind up.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. So generally, Honorable Speaker, what I'm saying is that members, any public officer, any public servant, Honorable Speaker, right from the top, His Excellency the President, downwards, to all those people that have been given the privilege to serve in this country, should be careful on the utterances they make and their conduct in public. And it's at this point sometimes, Honorable Speaker, that we ask whether clearly NCIC is operational. Because at this point, we should be seeing the governor for Nyeri being summoned and questioned for his utterances against a certain community and profiling some communities as lesser human beings, Honorable Speaker. And we should also be seeing, the people raising questions on Chapter 6 of the conduct of even some members, senior members of the executive, on how they carry themselves in public. But to also applaud the Deputy President, Honorable Speaker, and appreciate him for deciding to spend less, and use a commercial flight to Mombasa. That is now what we want. That is how we move around. That he is able now to pay.
Zamzam, wind up.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Na mimi nataka nielezee wabunge wenzangu mambo yanayotendeka si mambo ya kucheka. Mheshimiwa Spika, sisi tunajua majukumu ya naibu wa rais. na hata kama leo pengine Mheshimiwa Spika, wewe pia ungefanywa hivyo, tungesimama hapa kuweza kukutetea, kwa sababu kuna bajeti ambayo imewekwa na tumemwona mara kadhaa akilalamika kuwa ndege imemwacha, ameambiwa sijui kuna hivi na vile. Kwa hiyo kuna shida katika taifa letu, na mimi naomba ikiwezekana Mheshimiwa Rais na Mheshimiwa Naibu wa Rais waweze kukaa chini, haya matatizo yaishe, kwa sababu Kenya ni yetu sisi sote. Na hata alivyoongea yule governor wa kule Nyeri, amezungumza makosa, kwa sababu ugavi wa rasilimali unafaa uende sawa katika taifa nzima, Mheshimiwa Spika. Na kama alikuwa anataka kutetea pengine Naibu wa Rais, asingetumia matamshi yale, kwa sababu yanazidi kuleta sintofahamu. Kama ile mashini ya miwa kule, ilikuwa ni haki wao kupewa fidia kuweza kuregesha ule mtambo wa miwa, Mheshimiwa Spika. Lakini kwa yote ile pia sisi kumuona katika ndege ambao ni abiria wa kawaida bila hata security, Mheshimiwa Spika, ilikuwa inatatiza ile image ya taifa la Kenya, Mheshimiwa Spika. Kwa hiyo mimi naomba, na nimeona hata wabunge katika mikutano wakizungumza, wakirusha cheche za maneno. Wakati huu Wakenya wana matatizo, bidhaa zinapanda juu. Inafaa wakati huu tuwe tunaongea juu ya finance bill, Mheshimiwa Spika, lakini tetesi ambazo zinakuja katika taifa hili wakati huu ni vipi Deputy President anatembea, Naibu wa Rais ametembea na begi, sijui imekuwa vipi. Kama kuna matatizo, mimi naomba hasa wale ambao wako upande wa mrengo ule, sisi tulizoea matatizo yetu, manake tulipigwa mkatucheka na sasa kimewaramba. Lakini yote tisa, muweze kukaa chini, muweze kutatua matatizo yenu. Hata mkimshika leo spika wa bunge hili, kwa vile yuko mrengo ule, nione mtu anamletea na ile haki zake za kimsingi anapokonywa, kama Mama Zamza, mtasimama nitazungumza, kwa sababu akipatikana yeye leo, kesho mwingine atafanziwa hivyo. Tumeona hata kule kwa rais aliyostaafu kumetokea pia tetesi. Mambo haya yanafaa yakae chini, kila mmoja apate haki yake, na tuangalie sasa maslahi ya Wakenya. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Mkunji.
Honorable Speaker, I want to weigh on this issue, and I want to be very careful. Honorable Speaker, almost everybody who is speaking on this issue is my senior in politics and my senior in many of the things that we are doing. But Honorable Speaker, I feel that I need to put in a perspective of a newcomer in politics of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, while I really don't know how this country will be in a few years, I feel like we are changing tune and we are coming out in a way that we can even mess our democracy. Honorable Speaker, I want to call upon our senior leaders to embrace speaking in the rooms, and then they come out to tell us in very clear terms what is happening and what is going on in the country, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I was also very worried when I saw the Deputy President carrying his own bag. And I felt sad because if I was there, I could have carried for him the bag. Was
he carrying or towing?
He was carrying the bag, Honorable Speaker, and it looked like a bag that wouldn't fit even in the carrier side of the plane. And Honorable Speaker, I feel this is something that the majority leader must clarify to this House. Why would we have the Deputy President carrying a bag in a commercial flight? And Honorable Speaker, I also feel we are getting into the conversation of how to save on costs. And we need to embrace what the Deputy President has brought about, that we should be able to travel together with our colleagues who are not senior members of our society. But Honorable Speaker, we have bigger problems to think about. And Honorable Speaker, I want to say that in our community, Embu, right now we are reeling with a lot of poverty because of the ban of Mogoka, Honorable Speaker. And I feel this House, together with these members, are not doing enough to help us and listen to both sides of the divide so that my people don't die because of poverty, Honorable Speaker, when they were making a living out of this thing. Honorable Speaker, this is serious, and I want to say that we have to know how our people make money and not ignore the fact that they might even mess up their lifestyles. Honorable Speaker, while I'm finishing, I also want to say that reading the standing orders, I'm happy with your guidance that we should not, without a substantive motion, speak about characters of our senior leaders, especially leaders in the caliber of the Deputy President and the President. So we are still learning on how to handle these things, but I would really urge, even us here as members of Parliament, especially from this government side, we need to even have a kamukunji and speak and guide our leaders if they are not guiding us right. And that will really help us as we move on. And I hope the majority leaders heard me.
Jeanette.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Jeanette?